I'd like to welcome everyone to the Comedy Factory Comedy Chat. The Comedy Factory Comedy Chat tonight, Sunday, June 14th. I got a great guest on tonight. In 1994, he co-founded Comics for a Cure. He's organized and performed at many comedy shows for nonprofit organizations, done many cancer benefits, many things for veterans. He's an awesome guy. He teaches a comedy class at some various community colleges in Massachusetts. He also acts for Murder Mystery USA. Jerry's act, I've seen many times. We worked many times together. It's a unique mix of celebrity impressions, song parodies, stand-up comedy. I've been doing comedy nearly 30 years, and he's one of the best friends in the business that I've made over the years. We got very close. We don't work together as much as we like, especially now with the pandemic going on. But I want to introduce you to Jerry Caruso, my great friend. Jerry, welcome.
Hey, my brother, John Perrotta. I owe you $20 for all that, you know.
That's the best intro I ever gave you, brother. I don't even
That's
give
a
you that
great
good of an
one.
intro
That's
to
a great one.
shows.
I was wondering who you were talking about. I go, who's he talking about? He's a great guy. He does benefits.
I think we met around 95, 96, 97, Jerry.
Yeah, it was that range.
It's got to be about 25 years.
Close to it.
I've been doing close to 30, 29, 30 years.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Time flies.
I remember way back talking to you on the phone. I don't know how we connected. Somehow we maybe you knew I was booking something, or I knew you were booking something, and we got on the phone. And then little by little, we started working together. We became great friends, and it's been a great ride. You got a great wife, Robin, who I love very much. Great lady.
Same with Terry. Yeah.
Great Italian family, and
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. The pandemic hit, Jerry. I had lost 64 pounds. I gained back some. I gotta get back on my diet. But,
how much did you gain back?
I don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it.
You can tell me you lost weight, and I believe you. You'd be like, I lost weight.
Well, I have lost weight. Still,
I know,
compared to what I was. What's going on with you, Jerry? What's going on with you?
You know, despite everything, I try to stay relevant. I'm doing a lot of these. I'm doing some podcasts, doing some radio. I have a face for radio. That's why. So, you know, that's such an old joke, but it works. And you know, interesting shows. Like some people had me. I had a show with woman does stuff. She helps cancer patients recovering from their cancer, and they do it through the YMCA in Westboro, Massachusetts. And what they do is they get them back in shape after they lose muscle and tissue and stuff like that from chemo and radiation. I mean, you know, God bless you. You beat cancer, and I'm blessed to meet a lot of people that are cancer patients and that have beat it, and they still talk to me online. So it's kind of cool. They don't come to my shows, but they talk to me online. So that's amazing.
I had cancer 5 years ago. I have to go in July. I have a CAT scan every year. But actually, Mass General, because of the virus, is not doing them right now. So they're sending me to Foxborough, place in Foxborough. I get the CAT scan.
Are you going to the stadium? Is Kraft going to examine you?
Patriot Place. That's where the place is. They got to
cut it out.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? Maybe one of the Patriot Places will be getting a CAT scan when I'm getting one. But I got to do that, and then the doctor will call me and go over everything. God willing, I'll still be cancer free. I know you've done many cancer benefits, and I've done my share, and I think it's great all the work you put into it. You've done a lot of free. You donate your time. I know many times.
You know, it makes you feel good inside. You know, it's like so one time I did a show. Like I do a lot of shows with Paul Durant's in Boston at the Hope Lodge. Hope Lodge is a place cancer patients could stay while they get their chemo and radiation for consecutive days. They stay for nothing. They get to make their own meals, sometimes get free meals, and we give them a free show because it's the least I can do. But, you know, sometimes people come up to me and say, you know, we may not be laughing outside because it hurts, but we're laughing inside, and you're really helping us out, and we really appreciate it. And that's worth all the weight in gold. It's like for them to turn around and say that. And I always throw this old joke around. I always tell them, like, you know, people say, is a cancer crowd tough? I go, no, they're great people. They love to laugh. They go, how about people with brain injury? I go, you got to go a little slower, but they're really appreciative and they want to be a part of it. I go, the worst crowd is a rehab crowd. They go, why is the rehab crowd hard? I go, well, you know, I did a show a month ago at Spalding Rehab in Boston. nice crowd, but it's kind of sad. People in crutches, wheelchairs, missing limbs. I look at the crowd, I go, I hope you get better. And they look, one guy in the back room looks at me and goes, you too. So anyway, an old joke. But I mean, but they appreciate it. I try to break the ice, and then we interact afterwards. They'll come and talk to us and tell us their story. I'm not asking them. I go, whatever you want to talk about. Sometimes me and Paul get out of there 45 minutes later after the show's done. But, you know, if it's a relief to them, hey, laughter is the best medicine. You know that. You've done a lot of good for people.
I know you've done stuff for the veterans. I did last July. I did the veterans home in Bristol, Rhode Island, and we were supposed to go back there, but then with the virus hit and everything, that's on hold. But it was nice. Yeah. There were a lot of veterans there, and a lot of older guys in wheelchairs, and we had them laughing. We brought in a few comics, and it was a great time. I felt really good being a veteran myself to go in there and to make them laugh. It was a good time, you know.
And I never tell you, but thank you for your service. I always tell every veteran I see. I think I'm 25 years late. I don't know if I ever thanked you.
Yeah.
Really, because it's good. And you were Navy, right?
Yeah, I was in the Navy, yep.
So you couldn't make it to the Army, right? Is that what happened?
I couldn't make it. I'll tell you what, Jerry. I went in the Navy and I couldn't swim. My mother and father thought I was crazy. I said, I'm like James Bond. I wanted the water all around me. I couldn't swim. Danger. You know what I mean? I couldn't swim. I went in the Navy. And I remember in boot camp, we had to get it from one end of the pool to the other. We had to swim across. It took me 1 week. I almost got held back out of my company in boot camp because I had to swim across. It was me and one other guy, and it took us a week. We finally made it across the pool.
Stop it.
And then we had to do another one where we go in the deep end, and we got a pants, and we have to hold the legs, and you hit the water, and the pants fill up, and then you're supposed to float on it. Well, I went in the water hit the pants. I went to the bottom of the pool, and one of the Seabees jumped in and he saved me. If they weren't paying attention, I wouldn't be here today. I literally, when I go in deep water, I panic. I can't. Yeah, I can't swim, Jerry. Good.
Well, me neither. Back in the 80s, here's one for you. Back in the mid 80s, okay. Rob and I we just got married, and I used to oversee a running club called the Boston Beer Fest. Beer is what you drink. We did a lot of charitable events. We donated to charities. We used to congregate at, where runners run in road races. I don't know why I had to do that, but, they run and we have a good time afterwards. So anyway, it was our annual party. And so Guy had a pool, like an in-ground pool. And so he said, he goes, can I host a party? I said, sure, Larry, you could do it. He hosted the party. And me and my friend, all we're doing was knocking people into the pool. And so my close friend, Fred Latour, God rest his soul, not thinking anything of it, he caught me off guard. He pushed me in the pool, and Robin calmly went over to him. She goes, Fred, Jerry doesn't know how to swim. He goes, oh, shoot. And he jumped in the water. I was like going to the bottom.
So you were like me. We're both lucky to be here.
It's like, well, when did yours happen? Don't say the 80s. No. 70s?
When I was in the Navy?
Yeah.
It was in the 70s.
Yeah, mine was the 80s. It's like
the 80s.
Well, Marv goes, that's what you get for pushing people into the pool. I go, I was just having fun. They go, well, someone finally got to you. I'm like, oh my God, I was all drenched. And my friend goes, oh, I'm so sorry. He says, I didn't know you couldn't swim. I told you that.
I was looking at your website today, Jerry, and I didn't know back in the 80s, you got up at the Ding Ho like 4 times. Four times. I always wished I had done that. Because I started in 83 at Periwinkle's Comedy Club, got up 3 times, and I quit for 8 years. So I didn't make it to the Boston scene in the 80s. But you were at Ding Ho.
Yeah, so when I was at Ding Ho, that was 1980 or 81, right? Same as you. Like, I didn't go back on stage till 12 years later.
When you did Ding Ho, who was there? Because there were big names back then.
Lenny Clark, when he was thin and he had a lot of hair, was the host. He hosted a show that went from 7 or 8 p.m. till about midnight or till they were done with comics. So when I first went, he goes, kid, you're number 53. I go, what? He goes, 53. That's a good spot, he says. I go, okay. So I stood the whole show. Everybody had 4 minutes.
Comics.
Now, can you believe it? And Lenny Clark was so good back then. He's hosting. In between each act, he's telling jokes. And it's like, wait a minute. He did 52 jokes before me. You know what I mean? So when I was there, Steve Sweeney, Barry Crimmins. Let's see. God, all the big names.
Was Stevie right there?
Oh, yes, Stephen Wright. Yep.
Right. How about Dennis Leary?
No, I didn't get to see him all the 4 shows that I did. But those other names were synonymous, all those names.
Oh, and how about Don Gavin? Was he there?
Don Gavin, I think, was there too, because that's another name that I remember. But it was like, so I went, like the first time I went, it was the greatest feeling in the world. Well, Lenny thought he did so good. He goes, next time you come back, I'll give you a better spot. I come back the next time. He goes, guess what? Jerry? Is it Jerry? I go, yeah. He goes, 36. I go, that's great. He goes, it is. That's an honor. You dropped 17 spots. That's great. And I did good again. Like I said, only 4 minutes, you know. Then the next time I was like 21.
Wow.
And then the next time he made me like 17. He goes, see, kid, you're making it down the ladder. I go, is it up the ladder? He goes, no, down. He goes, you're getting a better spot.
And then you stopped.
And then I stopped. Well, because you know what happens when you first start doing comedy? Everybody's like, oh, you do comedy. We're going to come see you. Family and friends, we're going to flood the place. Well, the first time I did a show, when I finished 3rd in Class Clown, it was a contest. I finished 3rd overall, which I felt good about. But 13 people showed up. And then when I did Ding Ho, I had 7 or 8 people. And then the second show, there were 2 people. Third show, there was 1. And the fourth show, there was nobody. I go, I can't do this. Nobody's going to support me. So I just backed out of it.
I remember Periwinkle's Comedy Club. I got up in, I came back in 91, and I had, between work people, friends, family, I had about 40 people there, which was pretty good.
Whoa.
40 people. I'm talking 91. I took Frank O'Donnell, had a comedy class. I took that. There were 20 students, and I got up. I think I had to go up first or second.
No.
But I had 40 people, which was really cool. And then the same thing happened to me the second time up. I bombed horribly at a club, Bonneview in Narragansett, Rhode Island. And then I was like, what do I do? The same thing that happened to me in the 80s. I did great, and I bombed. This time, though, I had read a couple of comedy books, and it says you're going to fail a lot of times before you get good at it.
Yeah.
I kind of said, well, I'm going to hang in there. And it took me, little by little, you improve. It takes some people, I've known people headlining in a couple of years. And then other people, it took me a while to figure out my way, what was going to work for me. I think some people, it takes a little longer than others, but you can't give up. That's what I tell all new comics. Just hang in there. You have a rough night, just stick with it. You know what I mean? You can't give up.
When I came back, that's a good point. When I came back, I went to Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston. Great place. So what happened is 2 months prior to that, I went September 13th. So in July, I worked at Digital Equipment Corporation, and my friends told me, oh, you're wicked funny. Why don't you roast our boss who's transferring to another site? I go, what do I say about her? They go, we don't know. We don't even know her. Just tell jokes. And I did all these impressions, and they were all laughing. So the director of IT, when I was working in IT, she said, if you go to Nick's, we'll all come and support you. So I set up a time for an open mic, and I went like September. It took 2 months. And by the time I got there, like the night before, I rehearsed my act with my friend Kevin Gallagher. And he goes, kid, that's good. That's good. You're going to do great. So I said, how many of you are coming? He goes, I don't know, like maybe a dozen. So I'm with the guy upstairs from Nick's. And he goes, hey, who's the school bus? I see people stagger out. They were my friends. I go, that's a Partridge Family. They're coming to see me. He goes, save the jokes for the stage, dummy. I said, okay, but they're here for me. 13 people staggering out of the bus. They were all drinking on the bus.
Oh,
of
God.
course, except for the bus driver. He stayed outside. He waited for them to come back out. So I had it was 41. The crowd was like 41 people. So I remember Robin counted. I had a third of the audience, so I felt great. And Lauletta brought me up, Jim Lauletta.
Jim Lauletta, yeah.
And nice guy. He did such a good job because what he did, he brought me up because he made me new to the scene here, but I've known him for a while, and he didn't. He's a very, very, very funny guy. He goes, I've seen him many times before. He goes, welcome back, my good friend, the funny Italian guy, Jerry Caruso, he said. And so it gave me all the confidence, and I wound up doing, my act 4 minutes, like I did it probably a little 4 minutes. Applause breaks and everything. But I did impressions of celebrities singing classics. And it was fun. But I don't think I did good. I was reading my hand, because I didn't know which ones to do first. Like dummy should have did alphabetical order, but I did it in a different order. And I'm going, well, yeah, thanks. And I'm looking down at my hand. I'm like, oh my God. No one made a big deal of it, but I did good. And then from there, like you, I was psyched to do my second show. And I got an opportunity. Someone saw me there. Oh, you should go to this place in Cambridge. Oh my God, did I have a bomb? I hated myself. I said,
where was it in Cambridge? Because I did Catch a Rising Star in Cambridge.
no, it was like a small room that did Saturday afternoon comedy. Like nobody would show up. All these like, druggies and winos would show up. It's like, I don't know what the crowd was. And I did it. And it was like, I was like, oh, what am I doing here? The guy goes, oh, it's a normal crowd. I go, why am I here? I'm saying to myself. And as time went on, then I hooked up with Dick Doherty like months later. And when I went with Dick Doherty, some girl that I worked with, Shirley McAfee, I used to open for her. That's my other shows I did. She did a burlesque type of act where she'd dress up as a person, sing and sound like them, then transform to another one, In between her set, she did like a 2-hour show. I would warm up the crowd for 10, 15 minutes. She gave me a shot. I wrote jokes and I did it. She called Dick Doherty, you got to get this guy. He's wicked funny. And they gave me not like a feature spot, but a real good spot. Yeah. And I did real good. I had 2 shows in Cambridge at the Aku, because hard to believe a lot of Chinese places host comedy shows. I know. No, that's all you got. No.
Was that Aku? I did that right before they closed. Was that in Worcester?
Well, there was one in Worcester, and there was one in Cambridge, and there was another one. They had like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I did one with Spike Tobin right before they closed. I loved that room. I featured that night. It was
a great room, yeah.
So I did bad they closed,
I did 2 shows that night. The pressure was on me because I got a good spot. Like I didn't get like a 4-minute spot. I got like a 10-minute spot, which was big back then. So I was like the 3rd act, and I did good the first time. Second time, I completely bombed because, it was like an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock show. And the guy who ran the room for, I think his name was Matt. I can't think of the last name, but he looked at me, he goes, you did good the first time. Second time, he goes, I says, I know. I said, give me another chance. He goes, Dick will give you more chances. Don't worry about it. Then he sent me to Boston. They had a room near Fenway Park. I can't think of the name of that one. He did that. Again, on and off. 5 people, 20 people, 2 people, or shows get canceled. I tell my cousin to come on, see me perform in Boston. I can't wait, Cousin Jerry. I can't wait. They cancel a show. He goes, what happened? I go, there's nobody there. It was just you. He was the only one. And,
Jeez.
So it's like.
Sometimes we get 10 people. Sometimes we get 200 people. That's how this business is.
Yep. It's so crazy.
But I'll tell you what, right now, Jerry, I would take a crowd of 10 if I could get up and perform with this virus hitting. I mean, I tell you, we took a lot of it probably for granted. It was such a great thing, performing comedy and having fun and meeting all kinds of comics and the audience members. It was such a great way of life, So I think I tell you, it comes back and I get back on stage, I'm gonna really appreciate, being back there. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely, because it's like it was a total shock to the system, and the entertainment business suffers the most between comedy, music, and movies. It's like,
oh yeah,
do anything, and like I said, I mean, I'm looking for outdoor shows and I'm trying to promote that, but I know that's hard too, because some may want to do it, some may not want to do it, but at least you're in the outdoor air. People could spread apart if they want to, and like I did one on a deck once and a woman told me to roast her husband. She was totally drunk. I started crapping all over her. It was so much fun. So the family thanked me. They go, how could you roast her husband? He's such a nice guy. I go, she gave me stuff about him, and he didn't sound like a bad guy. So I started crapping on her. It was the best thing in the world. She says, I ought to not pay you. And everybody in the audience goes, we'll pay you because you shut her up because she walked out. He goes, I have a mind not to stay. I go, there's the door, or you want to go on the other side of the yard? Don't pay attention to me, And we had a blast. I did like an hour of it, hoping that can spur on things, and even smaller shows. Like I want to do comedy for 10 or comedy for 15, whatever we get allowed,
Yeah. I love doing, I've done a lot of house parties and all kind of parties like that. And I really enjoy the private parties.
I love those.
And I do great at house parties, just my type of act, mixing with the audience. And it goes over well. You know what I mean? I've done really well with them.
do you realize that you and I, and there's not a lot of comics that like to do house parties, like, our good friend Larry Lee Lewis, he'll book shows. And he said, I was telling people you got to do a house party. I don't want to do a house party, but some people don't like that because it's an unpredictable audience. But people like you and I who are like, you do great with crowd work, and I attempt at it, and I do okay, but I bond with them, and you too. But some people like to have a standard show, like a microphone, a stage, people in front of you, people that paid for it, people that. Whereas a house party is like anything goes, because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I've done house parties, bachelor parties. I did the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom, 2,000 people, Bill Burr. I did the Providence Performing Arts Center, hosted a show for the Station Fire. Dane Cook was in it, and Frank Santarelli, Stephanie Peters, Rich Aronovich, Colin Quinn, Colleen Galvin, Eddie Galvin, Stephanie Peters.
Jeez.
I've had some, like I've done the house parties and I've done the big gigs. I did the Friars Club. I just do it all. You know what I mean? Yep. I'll take the small gigs and the big gigs.
Yep, me too.
Whatever comes my way, and I think getting up on stage as much as you can, whatever it may be, it helps improve your act.
Yeah, and it's a high. It's a personal high without taking drugs or drinking. It's like you walk off the stage feeling good. You've seen people laughing, and they talk to you afterwards and compliment you, and you're like, wow, Jesus, all I did was tell jokes, but they go, you don't know. That was really good. And and I tell them, they go, you're the funniest guy I've ever seen. They go, apparently you haven't gotten out that much. That's what I think. But it's a good feeling. And the same thing. It's a great confidence booster. And if you're helping people, and as well as I'm sure you've been in situations where you helped a person, they were either down in the dumps or going through something, or someone in their family or friends going through something. So you took them away from it. And I'm sure that's happened to you too.
Yeah, I've had many people say they were having a rough time, whatever was going on in their life, and they needed that laugh. And we help them, when you make them laugh, it helps people,
That's such a good thing. And people don't realize that, hey, comedy's not easy. That's an old joke, but it's true.
Oh, it's not.
It's not easy. But when you got it and you have them, like one time I had to do a show, I had to do a balloon festival in Maine.
Oh my God.
There were more people than teeth in that audience. That. But as it turned out, like the guy, good friend Mark Turcott, good shout out. He does Maine event comedy. Does a great job. Because we've got this balloon fest. There's going to be 3 comics, me, and then your headline. I go, okay. And he goes, it's got to be clean. I go, don't worry. He goes, no, honestly, it's got to be clean. I go, not to worry. And the first 3 comics did okay. They did a good job, but they kind of, you tell when people rush through. I mean, the audience was hundreds of people standing in front. We were on a stage, but I felt like a rock star because Mark did a real job, and then I followed him, and I did. He goes, just do 20 to 30. If you do good stretch, I did 35 because they loved it. Big ovation. It's like, and then I had a drunk friend in the audience, which is good because the drunker they are, the funnier we are. You know that old saying. And she had a great time. She goes, I seen you act like it's a woman I work for. I act for Murder Mystery. She goes, I know how you are when you're a cop. She goes, I've never seen you like this. When I just had the audience, and you know how you grab the microphone you own, and that's how it was. And I had to give the microphone back at the end of the show, but that's all that matters.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it was such a good feeling, and he goes, you killed it. He goes, it was an audience of kids and families and older people, and it was such a great challenge. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's a good challenge. It's a heck of a challenge when you got kids and older people. You got to clean it up, and which I know you're not a dirty comic, and I don't consider myself a dirty comic.
No, you're not. You're not.
I think you get more work. People are more likely to book you. You know what I mean? Like I do a bachelor party here and there, and I can get dirty if I have to, but I try to stay in the middle so I can, appeal to the audience and not offend the audience. You don't want to offend.
John, the smart thing about you is you're not offensive for one thing. Offended me, you're not offensive. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. You're not offensive. You're not threatening, and you adjust to the crowd, which a lot of people cannot do. And I'm not going to name anybody, but I know people said, "Clean show, I can't do it. Sorry." Or let me do one swear. I go, "No, it's got to be clean." Oh, there's kids in the audience. Get them out. I go, "No, it's a family show." But a lot of people can't do it. You can accept a challenge, and I can accept a challenge, which is saying a lot about you and maybe me. But it's like, I welcome that. Like, I was on some guy's podcast, and he goes, "You never see me clean." I go, "You can be." He goes, "No, I can't." I go, "Yes, you can. You just have to put your mind to it. That's the most important thing. And if you're gonna say shit, you say poo poo instead. You make up words.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
And when you do that, the audience knows, but they appreciate it too. And you have jokes as well as I do. It goes over the heads of the younger audience. The older people get it, but it's like it's a challenge just to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What was your toughest show?
I did a rehearsal dinner a few years ago, and they were getting married or whatever, rehearsal dinner, and I remember going, and there were kids there, there were older people there, and I'm saying to myself, I was a little nervous, I said, how am I going to pull this off? And I never forget it. I tell the story once. I had a great set, and the guy was so happy. He gave me the biggest tip I ever got, $100 tip. I was like, you got to be kidding me. He was like really, really happy with it, So I pulled it off, Jerry, somehow,
Well, you want to hear? Well, so I could tell you the reverse. Me and Bob Sheehy, and Bob.
I know Bob, yeah.
Bob and I had to do an engagement party, right? And Bob goes, dude, this is like in the late 90s. I had been doing it like 6 years. And he goes, dude, I just want you to do 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Just be clean. That's what the guy wants. I was clean. I got some reactions. I got some laughs. So I was happy. I brought Bob on the stage. Well, Bob got on the stage, and he just went into edgy stuff. Like, figured, well, Jerry started off clean, and now I could be a little edgy, and it's not going to be that bad. As soon as he got edgy, not even 5 minutes into his act, father of the bride-to-be comes over. He goes, get him off the stage now. I go, I can't. He booked me. He goes, how about you guys don't get paid? I go, okay. So I bought Bob a beer, and I wrote on a napkin, get off the stage now, per the father of the bride. So I put the bottle of beer down and put the napkin, and I pointed to it. He goes, oh, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, give it once again, give it up for Jerry Caruso. And people are clapping. He goes, all right. Well, that's my time. And he went off the stage, and that was it. The guy paid us, and we got out of there.
That's happened to me a few times where I had a guy on stage, and I was told, you got to get this guy off. They were getting too dirty or whatever, and it's kind of a tough situation to be in,
It is, but now I learned my lesson. Not that I did anything wrong then, but as time went on, I said, okay, back in 99 or 2000, I said to myself, I'm going to try to be as clean as I can be. Adjust to the crowd when I have to, whether it's like a biker crowd, whether it's like I did a Relay for Life once, okay, for cancer, which is a great event, which this year they really got hit hard because that's their biggest fundraiser. People raise money, they walk tracks or whatever. So I had to do one in Burlington. And so my best friend came with me. I don't know if you ever met Charlie, but he said to me, Charlie goes, where's your crowd? We were in a tent and it was raining out. So I told the woman, I go, Jen, where's the crowd? She goes, oh, I'm gathering them together. I got 20, 25 people. And in a tent, it wasn't a bad deal. They sat close enough to me. They were all little girls from the ages of 10 to 13. So my friend goes, what are you going to do? I go, I'm going to give them a show. He goes, how are you going to do that? I know your stuff. I go, I'll work with them. I started talking to the girls, talking about how boys are dumb, who's got boyfriends, I hate math, I can't wait to be an adult, I go, me too, and they're all, and I bonded with them. I did that for 45 minutes, and they loved it. And the mothers were in the tent. They saw me after 5 minutes. They go, perfect. We get time out. They go, how long are you going to be? I go, another 40, 50 minutes. And they loved it because they got to walk away, leave their brats there, and I had to entertain them. But you know what it is? I knew what to do. And the same thing happened in Ashland, Framingham. That's because I'm big. Ashland for Framingham had a Relay for Life. And my friend Trish, she's an absolute doll. Trish goes, I gathered an audience. Some of us will be there too. So 30 people showed up. 25 of them were a bunch of little girls and little boys. I'm saying, do you like him? I go, oh, how can you go out with him? And they're like, and they were playing with me. And my friend went first, and he tried to do his set. I go, Bill Slemmer, another cancer survivor, Bill Slemmer.
Yeah.
Good guy. I was so far. I mean, he's still battling it, but he's doing better. Thank God. Love the guy. Always pray for him and you. And he did 10 minutes. He goes, that's all I can do, man. I go, don't worry about it, because he tried to do his set. It went over their heads because 2/3 to 3/4 of the audience were little kids, boys and girls. Then I went up and just started making fun of, would you go out with him? Ugh, I wouldn't touch it. Ugh, he's gross, And they're all laughing. And my friend Trish goes, I don't know how you did it because this is all I can get was all these little kids, but they wanted to see you. And they thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I kept it clean. I told some of my jokes, which ones would relate to them. I talked about me being a kid and stuff like that. Me being Italian, there were a few Italians in the audience. I guess they have token Italians in Ashland. I don't think they have many, but whatever. But it was such a good thing. But I just learned, like, I can do this. And people go, why do you want to do it? I go, because it's a challenge. I always look for a challenge.
Yeah. Before we, I don't want to forget tonight, Dave DiLorenzo, it's 4 months today that he passed. And you and I, the last gig you and I did with Dave DiLorenzo was maybe a year or so before he passed.
Yep, Pepperell.
We did a. Was that for veterans or what was that?
No,
for?
well, it's a VFW, but they had a fireworks committee, and I think remember they didn't have a big crowd. It was like a third capacity, and I think from what I heard, they bought a box of sparklers and 2 Roman candles and 6 firecrackers. So we helped them out, but they loved it. They thought it was great.
Yeah. But I remember, I remember that night because it was the last night we worked with Dave, and it was
That's right.
Both you and I, it's the last time we worked with Dave.
I remember that vividly.
Yeah, Dave was a great guy, and it's just it's a shame. He was only about 60, 61 or whatever.
He
was
younger than me and almost your age. Or how old are you?
62. Yeah, he was younger than me. Yeah.
You mind telling your age on a Zoom? It doesn't matter.
62. I don't mind.
64, brother. I'm gonna be 65 soon.
But Dave, it's funny. I don't know if I ever told you the story. I was working with him on early 90s. We used to do this restaurant, the Great Imposter in Warwick, Rhode Island, it's an Italian restaurant. And my mother and father came to the show. And my mother was talking to Dave after the show. She calls me over. And it turns out my mother used to go to this restaurant in Providence, and Dave's mother worked there.
Oh, really?
And she said, Dave's mother and I are cousins. She said, so you and Dave are some kind of cousins. So I had worked with him probably a year or two, and all of a sudden find out we're some kind of cousins. So it was always a kind of a running joke. He always called me cousin. I call him cousin. We're exactly what kind, maybe 10th cousin, second cousin. I have no idea.
Right.
Dave DiLorenzo was my cousin. And we did a lot. We worked together a lot in the 90s. We worked together a lot. Great guy.
Funny guy. He's funny on and off stage. Great personality. Endearing to the crowd. He did some crowd work, did some jokes, did a little bit of both. I had the honor to work with him, handful of times, 6 times. And great guy, just very down to earth. And I like talking sports with him too, because he was big in sports.
Oh yeah.
He worked for the NFL.
Yeah, he was the voice of the NFL for a while. He did promos and different
right.
videos.
And he had the perfect voice for sports and radio. He was on the radio too, right? He did a lot of radio work too.
Radio.
Right?
He was a great singer. I couldn't believe it. I saw the video, but he sang the national anthem at Fenway Park. First I think he did the Canadian national anthem, then the national anthem for us. Unbelievable. He sang 2 songs. He didn't screw anything up. I saw the video of it. His girlfriend Marion posted it a while back, and I saw it way back, but I saw the videos again. I was like, wow, we're going in front of Fenway Park, 35,000 people singing the national anthem and the Canadian national anthem. I was like, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's
an honor.
That's quite an accomplishment. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I had fun with him. Like we did a show down near the Cape, the outskirts of the Cape. He goes, Jerry, don't worry about anything. He goes, these people are very friendly, as far as I can see, he says, but they'll like you. I know they will. Just be you. I go, well, that's the only thing I could be. And it turns out I did like 40 minutes, and they were a wicked nice crowd. And then he did another 45, 50 minutes. It was a great show, and it was just a fun time. And me and Robin hung out with him and Marion, and it was really nice. It was a nice time. And, I won't forget that. And I didn't forget that us 3 worked together. It was like an Italian law firm, because it was Lorenzo, Caruso, and Perrotta. All we're missing is one Jewish guy that owned the firm, but we didn't have him.
Yeah, he's a great
But people
guy.
talk about that show because I work with a lot of people who some of them went to it, they go, it's too bad it wasn't bigger. We felt bad. I go, we still had fun. You had fun. I had fun. Dave had fun. And
sometimes you get a big
night.
crowd. Sometimes you don't. It's just the way, that's the way of the business. You know, I've gone into shows where I thought there was going to be 30 people and there was 200. And sometimes you expect, you know, you never know. You just never know how it's going to go, you know.
Did you ever do a synagogue?
I think I did. I did. Yeah, I did. I've done pretty much almost anything you could think of. I did a synagogue.
We did one, and it's part of my jokes, but it's true. It was me, Mary Ellen DiPetrollo, and Johnny Peasy. Again, it was like a law firm. And I said to the crowd, the only thing we're missing is one of you to own the law firm. And they all laughed, you know, because like Caruso, DiPetrollo, and Peasy. It's like, okay, where's a Jewish guy that oversees it, you know?
Crazy.
But they're really nice people. And that, again, was a different crowd because they did that in 99, 6 years into the business. I didn't know what to think of. And like I tell the story on stage, it's all true. You know, the woman at the front goes, go write some jokes. You're here early, write some Jewish jokes. I go, I don't got any. And then I walked in, and the girl goes, would you like a yarmulke? I go, I got a Toyota. I'm all set. And they loved it. They lost it, you know, and, you know. But I eased my way into it. I started off with 3 Jewish-related jokes that I wrote an hour before I hit the stage. And I don't write. I just wing it. I just tell my stuff and do voices and sing songs and just go with it. But I knew I had to do it then just to get on their side, just to make them happy. You know, they loved it. Once I got past that first 3 or 4 minutes, they say, oh, here's some Jewish jokes. And, oh, he's writing Jewish jokes. That's nice, you know. And then I went into my act, and they enjoyed it. It wasn't even like I looked at it like, oh, it's going to be a long 20 minutes. I always try to look at everything, even when I first started, is like, you know how people say when you first hit the stage, they tell you to do 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Jeez, that's eternity. Now if someone tells you to do 5 minutes, they go, 5 minutes, that's it. You know, like say you're in an all-star show and everybody does 5 minutes, you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. Yeah.
Someone tells you to do a short set. You know,
we used to do more time, you know.
Yeah.
Did you ever do, when I started, I used to go to Norwood, Mass. So there was an open mic called the El Torito, Norwood, Mass.
I remember it, and I think it stopped.
The guy J.A. used to run it. J.A.
Jeff Apothica.
Yeah. Did you ever meet him?
Oh, he's quite a character. Hey, Jerry, it's J.A. You go here. I need you to bring a disco ball because we got a nice audience that wants to dance after. I was like, I don't got a disco ball. I got one. I'll bring it there. He booked you the weirdest shows.
Yeah,
One time he had me go, I never told you the story. One time he had me go to a place near Newburyport, Salisbury. Did you ever go up 495 and there's that activity park that has it has sledding and it has everything there. It's on the right-hand side.
I'm not sure.
Amesbury or Salisbury. Anyway, I didn't know this. So that night I was ready to bag out of the show. It was me, he, and I can't think of who the headliner was. And I had a throat infection, like a sinus infection. And you remember Johnny Most from the Celtics?
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Most. I had to talk my whole act just like that. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? This is not Johnny Most. It's me, Jerry Caruso. And unbeknownst to me, I stuck out 20 minutes talking just like that the whole time because I couldn't talk. I'd lose my voice because of the sinus infection. I didn't know what was going on. Who owned the place? Remember Brad Park from the Bruins?
Yeah.
Brad Park owned it because that was after he left the Bruins. He goes, I got to have you come upstairs to my office. Come on up. And he gave me autographed pictures for my kids, which they abruptly lost in their room, which is hard to believe. Little kids would lose shit like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he signed he gave me dinner, and he had a beer with me. And I'll never forget that. He goes, what I like about your act the most, you did Johnny Most the whole time. That cracked me up. I go, no, I'm not doing Johnny Most. I go, that's how I'm talking. I got a sinus infection. And he goes, bang. I go, oh, my God. So I said, let him believe that. He goes, you're welcome back here anytime. That was a great experience. But that was a J.A. show.
Yeah, J.A.
I don't know if I got paid yet. I got to look back.
He didn't pay yet. His wife was really nice. I forget her name. He had a really nice wife. And he wasn't a bad guy. I remember.
I like J.A.
I remember doing El Torito, and I remember some of the guys I started with over there: Ralph Joyle, Freddie Stone, Mark Scallier,
Whoa.
Whole bunch of guys that came up to it. We used to do that on Saturday. I used to go every Saturday night. There'd be like 15 comics.
Was this
A
in
lot
the
of the
90s?
guys.
This is in the 90s,
Yeah,
right?
early 90s, early
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, El Torito, Norwood, Mass. Yeah, I got a lot of good memories of that place. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
God.
It's hard to believe it's been almost 30 years, you know.
Yeah,
Hard to
me and
believe.
Steve going on 27. It's like
Yeah,
crazy.
and things were, I mean, going really, really well. And then the pandemic hit, and they said it kind of threw me for a while, but I'm getting on my feet now, and we're doing the Zoom shows. I got a lot of my friends coming on and connecting with a lot of my old comedy friends, and we're talking and having a good time. And I've been getting, doing really well with it, you know. So I'm really enjoying doing this, you know.
Yeah, because it helps us out. It brings purpose back because we could talk about things, joke around, and reacquaint with people, and that's a help. It helps us all mentally too. And it's like
Yeah.
I've done so many different Zooms since March. Like and I don't have to say how many shows I lost and how many you lost. It's innumerable, but at least this makes up for it. I did a radiothon for a veterans group called Veterans Count. They're a branch of the Easter Seals. I did it up in Maine. I had to do a virtual comedy show. It was Danny Bullis, good friend up in Maine. He's an opening comic, very funny guy. Bob Sheehy was in the middle, and I headlined. And it was so funny. Danny was telling me and my wife were listening to you, because we were all part of the same Zoom, but people were interacting on the audience. Hey, Jerry, I was in the Navy. I go, oh, you couldn't make the Army. Like I'm answering them back, I said, no, I'm give a shout out to everybody in the armed forces because without you guys and your contributions, your sacrifices, we wouldn't have a country like this, which is a great country. So, but it was such a good thing. And Danny kept saying, like, you were talking to the audience like there was an audience in front of you. Like, how many Italians here? I go, see a few of you. Or did you like that one, sir? I knew you would. And they go, you acted like you were in a room full of people and they were reacting to you. I go, I just want to make it fun. I don't want to make people think like, yep, that was a joke. Did you laugh? Did anybody get that? Then you just sound like you don't care. And it turns out we raised like $1,500 that night just for a group that watched it. I think 70 to 100 tuned in. It was some number in between, but they were happy. They didn't expect to raise anything. They figured who's going to watch it.
I was talking to a lot of different comics. The fundraiser. I talked to one comic. He's got a fundraiser this week on Zoom. But fundraisers, shows in general, and fundraisers, and it's just going to be a while before they come back. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because you're not going to get for a fundraiser. I did them 200-300 people. You know what I mean? And you're not going to get a fundraiser. They're not going to be able to raise a lot of money if they can't get a good crowd and sell a lot of tickets and have a lot of raffle items. And it's going to be a while before shows, fundraisers, and you're going to have, like, you got guys trying outside shows and some of the inside shows, they can only get a certain amount of people. It's going to be a while before this thing comes back. You know what I mean?
I know, because it's hard for people. Because think of it this way. If you were going to put on a show and you usually get like 100 people and you have to cut it in half or even 2/3, well, how do you pay the comics because you're not getting the money from the door? How's a place that's holding it, say Asia Grill, and they're going to make their money? They got to afford all the help, the bartender, the drinks, the food. And, how do they do it? So that's
it's definitely going to be a while. So like this Zoom is great. I got some great people coming up. I got Chris Tabb and Charlie Hall and Dave Kane from the old Periwinkles. Them coming up. Ralph Joyle, Pete Costello, a lot of different people I've asked, and everybody's excited to come on and talk comedy and have some laughs and see each other. Because like I said, the comedy scene, we saw each other a few times a year, and now like the last 3 months, there's been no comedy scene, so we have to make our own. So it's great to come on here and see you, Jerry. You're a great friend, and a lot of the other comics I'm great friends with. I'm really enjoying this. This is really.
Oh, me too. And I think it's therapeutic too. Like,
it's been great for me.
When you get down, and we all get down, you as well as me, you get down and say like, oh, geez, or you watch like old comedy shows, or people will see you and say, oh, I remember you did that show for us. People will say that to me. That's very nice, but it brings back a memory like, yeah, that was a great show. Like I ran into a girl She was a cancer patient. One of her friends said, "That was so much fun. You're going to do that again?" I go, "Yeah, I hope so. You know, hopefully we'll do it again when she's cancer free." And so far, so good for her. I think she is. She just turned it, which is great. Knock on wood. But it's like you know, you want to tell them, let's do it now. But we know that we can't. You know, and especially for people with compromised immune systems. You know, it hurts me not to go back to Hope Lodge because despite having a crowd of like anywhere between 5 and 30 people, it wasn't a big room, but it was always like they were always appreciative. They were always laughing. You get them to laugh. You know what they're going through. Not do you know personally what they're going through, but the trials and tribulations they're going through. Like one Italian guy come up to me. His name was Oscar. He goes, "Jitty," he goes, "I got to tell you something." He goes, "Today I had a hard procedure." He goes, "But I wanted to get my mind off it. I think of one of your Italian a joke, and I feel a lot better." I go, thank God, Oscar. You know, makes me feel good that I helped you get through something, even though I wasn't even there. I'm surprised he remembered my joke, for God's sake. You know, I hope it was a funny one. I told him, he goes, "You very funny guy." He says, and I know that they appreciate it. But on the sad side, I've dealt with people who come there, they lose their battle. Yet I talk to them online, and someone told me, "Oh, you remember that guy? He played music during the show. He passed away. He lost his battle." And it was really sad. Then another mutual friend lost his battle because he stopped his cancer treatment to take care of his mother because his mother got sick, but he neglected himself, and he eventually lost his battle. You know, so you don't like to hear that. But then again, too, there are a lot of good stories that come out of it that people come up to me and say, "You know, I'll never forget that." Some are still my friends on Facebook. "We got to come see you on a live show. You know, we can't wait. This is going to be fun." And it's like, thank God of that. Thank God those memories are there. We helped create it. And I know you've done the same thing too. So it's a good feeling. And you want that to come back, but you also know that you don't know how long it's going to be, you know?
We have a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers. So we're gonna wrap up, Jerry. What do you, I tell you, we've been friends for a long, long time. Me and you, I can say you're a great friend. We see each other.
Me too.
Usually a few times a year we work together. And
you're like
the last time I had
brother.
you at Lemongrass, you just destroyed the place. They loved you.
It's great.
I had you at Lemongrass, and we've had a lot of great times together. Like I said, the last time we worked with Dave DiLorenzo was you and I.
Oh, that was fun.
Last time, and Dave's a great guy. Kind of dedicate this tonight to Dave. It's been 4 months.
I agree. I agree, Dave. This is for you. I hope you thought it was funny. You know, but
I mean, so
but Dave was great. You know, so the nice thing about it is that you can get relationships out of comedy, like good friends like you and Larry Lee Lewis. You know, a lot of people I can talk about that are good friends, and that's a good thing. You walk away and you still have it. Like, at least with me and you, it's not like, "Hey, when are you going to book me? Hey, Jerry, when are you going to book me?" It's not about that. We even call each other on and off, but that's a good thing about comedy. A lot of people I don't want to talk to. No, I'm just kidding.
We made a lot of great friends in the business,
which is good.
A lot of great friends.
And you have a great reputation, and that's why, you know, people will gravitate to you, and people gravitate to me because I do charities and fundraising. They're like, "Can I be a part of it?" I go, "Sure." You know, if we're going to help people out, let's do it together. You know, so the other thing I gotta say is, like, watch out, because we'll be back, and it's going to be great again. It's just going to be a matter of time and patience. This stuff helps. People will see it out there, and people will see how funny you are and how I attempt to be funny. And then they see, like, you know what? If I have something when things clear up, maybe I can get these two Italians to be on a show. You know, because you never know. But at least we're showing we're out there and we're doing our thing. I see the stuff that you do, and you see the stuff that I do. You know, that's the main thing. Just to try.
We got to stay in the game, Jerry. I know you go on radio, you do podcasts, and we got to stay in the game. Whatever it is to stay in the game. That's what we got to do until the bell rings and we're back out there. You know.
Are you going to still try to do your comedy class virtually, or is
no? We're not going to do the comedy class this year. Unfortunately, we're not going to do it. Yeah, because
the college is asking me to do it. They want to do Zoom. I go, if you guys want to do it, I'm all for it. You know?
Yeah. We decided because Colleen Galvin, Rock and Joe, and I, we usually have 20 students, and we decided.
You do good.
But the thing is, we have a graduation show, and then we usually get 200 people.
Yeah.
And I got the date booked for the graduation show, but we can't. We're not going to be able to get. We're lucky to get 50 people.
That's
so
sad.
the whole. We looked at the whole thing and evaluated it, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to do it. You know, So maybe next year, probably.
Right. For those who out there listening, take the class. It's a good class. Matter of fact, I did one of your first classes, and
Yeah,
I
you
was
came in
honored
and
to be.
spoke.
That
Yeah.
was fun. That was fun. You had a lot of talented people there too. So
Yeah, we had some fun. Well, I'm gonna wrap up, Jerry.
go.
You know I love you.
You know I love you too. My best to the family.
One of my best friends in the business.
You
and,
too. I love you, brother.
I do
I'm not
anything
gonna get
for you.
mushy. I'm not gonna get mushy.
I look forward to working with you again.
Me too. I'll have you on a Zoom too, because I'm gonna start a few of these too.
Well, you know we'll work together. You know we're gonna work together again. It's
Yep.
just a matter. It's a matter of when, Jerry.
God bless you. And when's your checkup? July?
Yeah, July I get checked for my kidney cancer. It's been 5
Good.
years. God
God
willing,
bless you. We'll be praying for you. You know.
Yeah. Well, everybody stay healthy. Jerry, stay healthy. Robin, thanks for coming, being on tonight. I love you, brother.
I love you, man, too.
We'll see you guys.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.